Well, hello lovely humans and welcome back to my channel. If you were checking this out on Wedding Chicks or on Facebook, thank you so much for stopping by. Today I wanted to talk about the #1 budget killer, your guest count. Did you know that 80% of your wedding budget is affected by the amount of people that you invite? I'm gonna let that sit in for a minute. 80% of your overall budget is affected by the number of people that you invite. If that doesn't blow your mind, I don't know what will. But sometimes it can be kind of hard to, wrap your head around that. So I thought it'd be a good idea to sit down and go over some of the averages for specific line items that your guest count affects, and come up with a total, like a grand total of a cost per guest. My parameters for this were, it's going to be a traditional style event that serves appetizers, alcohol, and cake, and that you are going to be hiring vendors for it. So after a lot of research and literally Googling average cost of wedding chair, combining that with my experience as a wedding planner, I came up with some numbers and came up with a grand total of cost per guest for the average event. Now, of course, these are averages. Your numbers could be higher, they could be lower. If you are a note taker, grab a pad of paper, grab a pen, and get ready to jot this down because I'm about to throw a lot of numbers at you. So without further ado, I put together a list of 14 items that are affected by your guest count with the average cost of each item. First one would be chairs. Where are people going to put their tushes during the ceremony and during the reception? This is going off the assumption that you are using one set of chairs that's moved from the ceremony to the reception. The average cost of a chair rental is $3. The average cost of a setup fee for that chair is 30 cents. So one chair for one person is $3.30. The next item on the list are tables. I decided to have an average of 10 people per table and either using a 72-inch round or an 8-foot rectangular table. Table rentals for about that size average at $12. Linen rentals for floor length, which I absolutely recommend doing floor length because it just looks so much better. Linen rentals are $18 for those tables on average. So that is $30 for a table of 10. Watch me do some really good math. That means it's $3 per person. Linen napkins on average are about $1. Flatware. Utensils, that means a fork, a knife, and a spoon are about 45 cents a piece, which means it's $1.35 per person. If you want to have glassware on the tables, and this is just at the tables, we're not including anything that you're, serving in at the bar, wine goblet and a water goblet are about 80 cents a piece. So that's $1.60 per person. China, the plate, is about 45 cents per person if you're just doing a dinner plate. This does not include cocktail hour plates for appetizers, and it does not include plates for cake. Centerpieces are affected by the amount of people that you have. That's one thing that I kind of always knew, but I didn't really sit down and think about it. The average centerpiece is about $65. So for a table of 10, that would be $6.50 per person. Are you so blown away by my math skills right now? Appetizers, if you were going with a traditional caterer, can be somewhere around the ballpark of $10 per person. Meals were a little bit harder to find an average for because it could be as low as $15 per person or $100 per person. But since I'm talking mostly to the budget brides here, I went with the number of $30 per person per meal. Desserts, now that's another one of those things that's like a lot more ambiguous when it comes to cost. Seeing as the average cake can cost anywhere from $6 to $15 per slice, which means per person, I decided to go with $8 a person, which seems like a pretty good average in between those, right? Alcohol is another one of those that was a little bit harder to find an average on, but we settled on $15 per person. That seems to be like the perfect middle ground between DIY bar and open bar through a venue. Favors on average are about $5 a person. Invitations, on average, about $5 a person. That's invitation, RSVP card, envelope, stamps, the whole kit and caboodle. So, if you were tracking along with me and writing this down, you will see that that came out to $90.20 per person. This is not including delivery fees or pickup fees or service charges or anything like that. Just using average amounts for 14 items for one person, for one wedding guest, is $90.20. And that's just for the items that we discussed. There are plenty of other items that are affected by your guest count, including, but not limited to,
venue size, menu cards or escort cards or other forms of stationery, the amount of servers that you need, all the extra tables, so buffet tables if you have other people who need more tables.
Those are all other items in your event that I couldn't even come up with an average for because they're all across the map. There are very, very few things that you will book for your wedding day that are not affected by that. That would be stuff like your photographer, your videographer, your officiant, your DJ, your photo booth. This is also not including flowers for the rest of the event. If you have a wedding of 100 people, that is $9,020 for 100 people for just those items. 200 people, $18,040. 300 people? Like, it just gets to be extremely difficult to make a smaller budget work when you have that many people. Unless you DIY it or you hoof it and you find some vendors that come in for lower rates than that. I hope you are getting out your red pen right now and crossing people off that guest list like you're getting paid to do it, because you're literally getting paid to do it. Because if you cross people off, oh look, I just saved $100. This is emotional. It's an emotional thing. I know that it can be really hard to cut guests from your list. A lot to process through. It is. So know that if you get creative, you can make it work. My hope is that a lot of people will look at that number and think, I'm gonna get crafty. I still want all my favorite people there, or I'm gonna cut some people out of my list because we have to make this work. This is not meant to scare you. It's meant to inspire you and to push you into being creative with your event, because there are so many great options out there. So guys, moral of the story, just be aware of the amount of people that you're inviting. That's it for today, folks. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch this video. If you haven't done so already, like this video, subscribe to this channel for more tips and tricks for the modern day bride. If you are watching this from Facebook or on a Wedding Chicks website, go ahead and hop on over to YouTube and give me a search, Jamie Wolfer, and subscribe to this channel. Until next time, bye guys. 80%. 80%. I'm gonna leave you with that. 80%.